Welcome back to Against My Better Judgment podcast, the podcast where two friends,
I'm Tamara Golden,
and I'm Dannelle Whiteside, tell the truth, share the lessons, and laugh about the moments we knew better, but did it anyway. Every week we share real stories about the times that life surprised us, stretched us, or straight up humbled us, and what we've learned along the way.
And this season we're calling it That Time When. All right, so Dannelle, let's get to it. This episode is going to be That Time When Dannelle almost got scammed.
Okay, it is. But before we do that, and I have to tell all my business, how are you?
You know, I'm pretty good. I just come back from one of the Wimbledon. So watching some tennis.
Nice.
So feeling good. Just had a business launch. So it's a lot, but just being able to still get rejuvenated and get ready to grind.
Yeah. So I've been saying that lately it's just a lot of life happening. We just came back from vacation. I said this before, but I have 3 boys. There are 6. My middle son just turned 4, and then I have a 9-month-old, and we all went to Florida and did all the things, Super Nintendo World, which like absolutely blew their minds.
How long do you stay? Like, how long do you stay in Super Nintendo World? Like, is that a half a day or hour?
We actually did spend half the day. So we were in Epic Universe. It's a brand new park from Universal, and there are like 5 worlds within Epic Universe. One of the worlds is Super Nintendo World. My boys are obsessed with Mario and Luigi. So obviously when we walked in there, they were just like, wow.
They were Mario and Luigi for Halloween, weren't they?
They were. And I was Princess Peach, and my husband was Bowser.
I remember that.
So they were just amazed. But also, did you play games when you were a kid? Did you play Mario?
So I'm more of a board game person, but I had a brother. I had a brother that's 2 years older than me. So we played like Mario, but very basic. Like you had to jump and hit his head to get points and duck hunt, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so because you do have that origin, when you walk into Super Nintendo World, it is like you're in the game.
Okay, so like the turtles,
everything, the piranha plants.
That's kind of scary.
Power ups.
Isn't that scary?
I mean, not for me, but I
yeah, because you could fall. Like if you didn't make that jump, like if you didn't,
I mean,
push that. I mean,
liability. They're not going to make it that closely aligned to the game, but it was like you're in the world. So also, it was cool for me too. My point is, it was cool for me too.
Okay, what about the 9-month-old? What?
Child, he was living his best life. So we traveled with. We had a whole posse. We had. Obviously, what I call the White Side 5, the White Side 5, and then we had my mom and her husband Bobby, and then we had Avery, who helps us with the boys. And so we were rolled in the park deep, but we also stayed on one of the properties for a night. So my mom and Bobby took Ronan, the baby, to. We went to the park together, but then they left and did some other little things, and then they went back to the room, and then they explored the hotel. So he was fine.
So I didn't know we were using proper names, so I'm glad that. So when I said 9-month, I did that on purpose.
Yeah,
so I did not forget anybody's name. But so with that, how does that work? And this, I know this is totally an aside, but like when you roll that deep, is there like, do you pay for Avery, your mom, Mr. Bobby?
We did.
Okay. Because I think personally, I'm like, if you're going to get all this help and you really want to enjoy it when you're rolling that deep, rolling in the deep. But when you're rolling that deep, I feel like that's part of it. So I was just curious.
No, I mean, we wanted them to come to have the memories, and we needed Avery's help. Like, you know, with 3 kids, 3 boys that are busy, you need as many hands as you possibly can.
So my friends, really y'all could like start paying my way to go on these trips.
Listen,
I
if you
just thought about that.
Yes, girl, come on, for real.
Oh, I did not think
for real.
So all this time I've been going with my friends, helping with these kids. Really, they should be at a minimum paying my way.
I don't know why that's not a thing.
I don't know either, but I know it should be.
I mean, and we even pay Avery like some money.
Right.
Like during the day, like for every day she was with us.
Right.
Because she's working, you know, she's
correct.
She's not, you know, for IRS tax purposes, she's not a nanny.
Correct.
For us, but you
nobody
know,
said that.
She, you know, but we gave her money and she had a great time too. And
ooh, yeah, I think I have another venture here.
You do
now, but
if you especially want to roll with us, you definitely have another venture.
I think I do, but I think the kick with me is you don't have to pay me during the day because I'm gonna be kicking it. Like I'm gonna, but I'm gonna help with the boys. But you don't have to pay me during the day because I'm gonna have the flexibility. We're gonna be kicking. We're gonna be the white side 6.
There you go.
Or the white side 5. Plus Tamara. Right.
And we even all had matching shirts and it said the White Side Crew. Ooh. Everybody had the same. I mean, because you're part of the White Side Crew.
Well, I'm doing Disney with one of my girlfriends and her family. They did not pay. And Disney's expensive. They did not pay for my nothing. Except I am going to get a free shirt. And they're like, do I want some ears? I said, no. If I see another grown person with Mickey ears. Anyway,
okay.
Let's.
You gotta go. You gotta have Mickey ears.
Let's do this.
Disney.
I'm not doing it. But anyway,
how do you?
Yeah. Anyway, so back to this episode.
Yes.
I'm glad you had a good week. So welcome back.
Good. Thanks.
But we're gonna hit it with that time when Dannelle almost got scammed and Andre.
Y'all. So we're gonna break the fourth wall here. I called her after it happened. I was like, girl, we are definitely talking about this on the podcast.
And I was like, I don't want to hear about it.
Yes. So my husband, I kind of have to set up the stage of what was happening. So my middle son had to go to the dermatologist, and pediatric dermatology apparently is in high demand because when we tried to make an appointment in Nashville, they didn't have anything until January. And I was like, what? Okay. So they were like, we do have an appointment in Shelbyville. Shelbyville is like almost an hour away from Nashville.
And it's Shelbyville.
Sorry. Yeah. Me being proper, Shelbyville. But anyway, so I was like, well, I'll take that appointment because it was, the closest available. So anyway, I'm getting him ready. It's always hectic getting out the house, so I'm kind of distracted, and we're getting in the car, we're driving, and my husband calls me about halfway there, and he's like, I think I'm in trouble. And I'm like, what? And he's like, there is an officer on the phone on the other line, and he's saying that I failed to appear in court.
Wait, he put the officer on hold
to get me on the line.
That's one red flag. I'm just gonna count the red flags here. All right, that's one. Carry on.
So he was like, I'm gonna join you because I just want to make sure we're hearing the same thing. Now, we've said this before, we are both attorneys, and so I pride myself in being the person you cannot scam. My mom consistently will email me things, is this spam or real? All the time is spam. One time I was at my university, we have a National Security Studies Institute, and they were having this workshop series about just different types of issues in national security. And there was one man whose job it was to hack into systems, hack into like going to front desk to see if you could get past the front desk agent without a badge. Like his whole job was to test your company to see how secure it was. And I said, is there a profile of someone? Because he was saying, if I see and he's given stereotypes, but it's, I guess, well-researched stereotypes. He's like, if I see an Asian man sitting at the front desk, he was like, 9 times out of 10, I'm getting past him.
Is it because he's going to get past because he's white, or is he going to get past because of the attributes of this Asian man?
He didn't make that distinction, which is a good question. And I said, was there a type that you never got past? He said, a black woman. He said, if I see a black woman at the front desk of any office, I am never getting past.
My girl.
So I was like, so I'm taking that with me. I'm like, that's right. Cause we don't play.
Emphasis on woman.
Yeah,
no offense.
Exactly. True. Okay.
Andre.
So anyway, he gets me on the phone. He's like, I'm in trouble. Anytime you say, I'm going to cape for my man, if he in trouble, I'm down. That's all you had to say. So he gets me on the call, and this man, he gets on. He's like, okay, as I've tried to explain to your husband, he was served to be on a jury, and he signed for it, and he did not appear. He was served on, let's just say, April the 28th.
Okay.
And he signed for it, and the case was on June 16th, and he didn't show up. And so the judge immediately issued a warrant for his arrest. And so he's going to have to come to this federal kiosk and get a bond. And then he's going to have to take it to the court, and we'll have to do a handwriting analysis to see if he signed for it. And then he's going to have to, if it is in the handwriting analysis, if it proves that it was not him, then you will get your bond amount back.
Wait, red flag 2 and 3. The word bond for failure to appear in court.
Bond? It was something.
And the other thing, red flag 3, handwriting analysis for somebody who didn't show up for jury duty?
Okay.
Okay, and the federal kiosk is red flag number 4. Come on.
Okay, so I was like, so he was talking very fast, like very fast. I said, sir, you're going to have to slow down. I'm trying to figure out what it is that you're saying. Because he was like, you have to go to this point and put in your pen and then go to this place. And so I was just like, okay, please slow down. So he, what amount are we talking about? He was like, it's going to be $16,000. And he started citing federal case processing procedures. And I said, well, who is the judge in this case? He told me the name. I wrote it down. And so then the other thing, Tamara, is that he said your husband was only allowed to call you because he said he had to figure out how to make payment. Like we had, because we have
other red flag.
we have accounts, all over the place. So like he was like, we gotta figure out how to get the money. So he was like, I'm only allowing him to make that phone call for that purpose, but he cannot hang up, because if he hangs up, then that's going to be considered that he's not cooperating, and he'll be held in contempt, and an officer will come and arrest him.
No, that's going to be considered red flag number 6.
So that's the reason why he had the officer on hold to be able to call me. And so then he was saying, I need you to report your mileage because we will reimburse you, because he was like, you need to go to the bank and get this money. and then you need to go and put it in the federal kiosk where they'll issue you a bond, and then take that to the sheriff's office, and then we'll start
take that bond. You put that cash money in this kiosk, and you're gonna take that bond. Like, I almost want to see it play out, because I want to see what their federal kiosk looks like.
Okay, we're gonna get there.
Carry on.
So all this time, I'm still like, slow down, sir. I'm trying to understand what are the different steps. Like, and mind you, I'm driving to the appointment, so I can't.
Oh, I thought Andre had the kid on his way to Smyrna. That was
me. So I can't really take notes. Like, I'm breaking all kind of laws here. I pulled a pad out, and I'm like scribbling on the side.
You have pulled over.
No. Because I'm trying to still get to this appointment.
You have pulled over.
Okay, I pulled over.
Jeez.
I'm scribbling, making notes. And really, the ultimate level of distracted. Like, here you are confronted with this, like, oh, the other thing is he's like, the reason why he has to go to the federal kiosk first is because if you go in the presence of law enforcement and there's a warrant out for your arrest, they will arrest you. Oh, that part is true.
Yeah.
If you do go in, if you go into any sheriff's office, police office, and there's a warrant for your arrest, they will arrest you immediately. Yeah. And then they'll figure out the rest.
Correct.
And so it is, whatever day this was like the day before. It was Juneteenth, actually. It was the day before Juneteenth. So
okay,
I'm like,
18th.
So I'm like, okay, I know if he does get arrested, we're talking a weekend, like 4 days in jail. And no, you're not about to arrest my man. Okay. So I'm like, that's the part that was for me, like, why I kept talking to this man, because he was like, if you hang up, then I'm going to take that as non-compliance and we will send an officer out to arrest you.
He should have gone to Smyrna. Because how you going to find Andre in Smyrna?
He wasn't at Smyrna. He was at home.
I know. He should have went to Smyrna. Anyway.
So then he tried to get smart with me, because he was like, I've told, ma'am, it just seems like you're stalling, because I've told you this, I've explained it to you so many times. I was like, look, I'm not stalling. I'm just trying to get an understanding of what is required of us to do. Like, we're not people that are not compliant. We're a law-abiding citizens.
We are compliant people.
And I said, I'm an attorney too, so I'm trying to make sure what you're saying is lining up.
Right.
So what he was saying just enough where, like, okay, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. He's citing the case process manual. He just told me the name of the judge. But I also, again, am driving, so I can't, like, actually.
What was his role?
The guy on the phone?
Yeah.
He's a sheriff. Or, no, I think he's in the sheriff's office.
Okay.
Like a case manager in the sheriff's office or something. Because he was like, it was one part where he said, well, I can't let you, he told me he can't let us off the phone. And then at another turn, he said, well, you know, if you're not going to comply, then I'm just going to go ahead and get off the phone now, because I have about four other people that I need to, you know, get served and all that. And I said, well, you knew when you called us that it would take whatever time it took, because we can't get off the phone. And then that's when he was like, listen, ma'am, it's, you know, since you have an issue, I could just hang up the phone now and, you know, mark your husband as non-compliant. And so then I was like, no, we're not non-compliant. And he's like, well, so then we get to this point and I said, well, I feel like I'm under duress and you are rushing us. And I tell my husband, because he's like, well, it's your husband who needs to say that. I said, well, tell him that you are under duress.
Oh my gosh. Who uses words? He should have known then. When you start using words under duress, I kind of feel like it's some kidnapping in there, kind of.
Listen.
It's a lot going on.
So much. And it's very pressurized. Like, it's like, if you don't do this now, which actually in the sessions that I've sat in on national security and scams and everything, they say if it's high pressure, you know, you have a certain amount of time that you have to comply. Like, this is the red flags that, you know, but again, you caught me in a moment where I'm in transit trying to rush and get somewhere. We was already late to the dermatologist. Like, you know, it's just, so anyway, finally pull up to the dermatologist's office and I was able to jot down some notes and we're in the waiting room. I'm like, quickly checking in my child, still on the phone. Like, I'm just trying to describe how, like, frantic this is. So then they put us in a room and I finally am able to sit down and be like, okay, let me get my phone. Let me start Googling. So I Google federal kiosk and again, I'm still on the phone with this man and my husband. So I Google federal kiosk and it said something like this. It was out of the courts of Maryland. It was like, this is a scam. And
I'm about to Google it.
Federal kiosk, failure to appear warrant. Like, I Googled something like that. And so I was like, sir, I'm reading something, and I read it out to him. I was like, it's giving scam. I definitely said that. I was like, it's giving scam. He was like, well, ma'am, because that one said something about bond or that one says something about bail. A bail scam. He was like, this is not a bail scam. This is about failure to appear in court. And so he was like, and I'm telling you, I've been on the phone with you for an hour. Like, this is not what that is.
Were you really on the phone for an hour?
I was on the phone with him for 30 minutes. My husband had been on the phone with him for 30 minutes before he even called me.
Straight up. Scam. Federal kiosk bail scam. Refers to a fraudulent scheme where individuals are contacted by scammers posing as law enforcement or court officials.
Yes. So then I said, so my brain, and I guess I also say the Holy Spirit was like, listen and ask the questions. So I said, what is your name? So I think my husband said, what's your name? And he said, what's your badge number? And he said, well, my supervisor's name gave the name. And I said, now, who did you say you worked with? He said, the sheriff, the Davidson County Civil Division of the Sheriff's Office. I said, in my mind, I'm thinking sheriff is criminal. Mm-hmm. They don't have a civil division. Mm-hmm. I said, who is the Davidson County Sheriff? Now I already know because the sheriff is elected.
Correct.
It's Darren Hall.
Right.
You mean Lieutenant
Girl.
Mickey Mouse? I just said that, but it was like some name. And then it was like, no, the sheriff, the Davidson County elected sheriff.
Who you work for.
Hold on a second. Hung up the phone. Tamara? Wow. He hung up the phone.
Wow, you have empowered him to know the answer next time.
But wait, I forgot to say this. I love storytelling, but I missed this. My husband had already gone to the bank, had withdrawn, because at some point we told him we cannot give you $16,000 because of the time. You know how there are withdrawal limits and everything. So it's like we can't pull together from all our accounts $16,000 today. So I said we can give you $4,000 today. And so he was like, hold on, I'll go to my supervisor and see if that would be sufficient. He put us on hold. He came back. He was like, my supervisor says it's like $4,000. He was like, but you're gonna have to add $355 and like 62 cents. It was like some very specific amount. And there's another part that I left out. So anyway, so I said, okay, we'll do that. So my husband had gone to the bank, had withdrawn $4,000 something dollars from the bank.
Whitesides. That man got me at, I mean, everything just says hang up. He got me at $16,000. From who?
Right.
And 3 and 4, like.
She's like, I would have had to say, well, you're going to have to just come and arrest me.
Correct. Let's talk. I mean, I would have to pull a Tevin Campbell. Can we talk for a minute? Because nothing, like, I got 50 on it. But we're not going to talk y'all need to be investigated.
He had gone to, why we got to be investigated?
That's something's not right.
Anyway, he had gone to the bank and had got the money out. And then the man said, this is the other piece that I left out of the story, the major piece. Finally, when I was sitting down and I was able to Google, he said, okay, now that you have the money, I'm going to give you the address to the federal kiosk. He gave us the address. I put it in there. The Raceway on Edmondson Pike.
You've got to be kidding me. Like, even if you're going to play this out, when you showed up with that Raceway, were they going to rob them?
That's what I thought.
Because there's no way
because now you know that a person is carrying $4,000 in cash.
And you know good and well, when they see Raceway, they're not gonna, that's obviously not federal anything. So, you know what? I guess they were just gonna rob them.
That's what I said. So he said, when he gave me the address and I put it in, I said, why would a federal kiosk be at a Raceway? And he said, well, man, we're trying to make it, they try to make it convenient
you don't live next to Raceway on Edmondson Pike?
Okay, so then that's when I said, who is the sheriff? And he couldn't give me the name and hung up the phone. Soon as it happened to me, I said, Holy Spirit, thank you so much. Because there are times when you know that the Lord has come to your rescue. Yep. We were about to go on vacation. Mm-hmm. That was going to be our vacation money. We would have had to tell our kids, I'm sorry.
I can see Andre sweating at that bank like Taraji P. Henson on straw. Like, oh, girl, like, I need $5. All I need is my $5. I mean, just flustered.
It was like, anyway, so once we finally wrapped up the dermatology appointment, don't even hardly remember what they said about my child and his skin, because I was just so like, I can't believe this just happened to us. Yes. And so then I got in the car because I was like, I just want to make sure, because remember he said, if I find you not compliant, I'm just going to send a sheriff. So I was like, I hope he didn't think that we were not compliant. So I was like, let me just call the sheriff's office just to be sure.
You are still thinking about whether this man think you compliant.
I mean, we were in the Raceway. 30 minutes of mental, like, these mind games. You know, like, if you're in that and you like, you know, so let me just close the loop. Girl, I called, lo and behold, a black woman answered the phone.
Can't get through her.
And I said, ma'am, we were called by someone about my husband and a warrant for his arrest. She said, girl, I hope you didn't pay them. That was the first thing she said. Girl, I hope you didn't pay them.
Right.
And I said, well, we almost did. She said, they got somebody for $10,000 yesterday.
I wonder if they're just knocking somebody upside the head, though. I want to know, how do they get the money? Because that Raceway would have kept me in my car.
So here's what I think. I think that there is a machine there that is a wiring machine. So they were going to tell us to go put the money in this and wire it to get your bond. And then you're actually sending the money to them. Is what I think would have happened. But I also thought initially, like, they were going to rob you. Like, you were going to get there and they were going to rob you.
Boy, they would have had their hands full with Andre.
Well,
They've been like, is it worth it?
But all that to say, first of all, again, God don't play about me, number one. So, but, and again, we said this is not a Bible podcast.
You trying to make it one?
We cannot help but bring God
Evangelist Whiteside
with us, because when you are distracted, that is when the attacks come. And I really describe to you all the distractions. Like, I'm distracted all the time. And so when you are distracted, you don't have enough wherewithal to like really hear what is being said to you and processing. And it is not until you get still and you are able to listen that you can have the Holy Spirit tell you, guide you in the ways that you need to go, which is ask the right questions, check what they're saying. Does it sit right with you? You know, and so
the Holy Spirit also said, hang up that phone. Don't go to that bank. Don't call these folks back. I mean, the Holy Spirit said some other stuff that you missed.
Again,
call Tamara.
Distraction, you gonna miss it. So until you get focused and settled, then you're like, okay, that don't make sense. Yeah. Let me think this through.
Man.
And so
what
that's what happened.
A story.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think about it. I've never really thought about it from the sense of being scammed. I just don't think, I haven't thought about that, but I always thought about like when I hear like cousin Tommy, nephew Tommy do those prank calls. I'm like, there's no way I can get pranked like that. So when I think about scams, and I started thinking back, like, when have I been scammed? And I will just say this, I'm going to throw this out here because this is serious. So this is my serious hat, like, you know, take your smile off. I said, I'm serious, Dannelle.
I'm trying to
but
figure out
I
if you
feel
really
like
are.
I get scammed every time I order anything other than a small ice cream cone. Think about it. When you order a waffle cone and you say, oh, I want large, you look at somebody getting a small waffle cone and they get like 16 scoops in the small. Then I get large because I'm like, I want large to fill up this waffle cone. You get the exact same amount as the person that got small. Same thing in a cup.
That's true.
If you order a small cup of ice cream, they want you to feel good about that small cup. I never can, it's something about small and ice cream that doesn't work. So I order medium. And it's the exact same. So first off, it's all seriousness. I think anytime you order ice cream, you can scam.
No, I mean, not anytime. Anytime you order a larger portion.
Anything more than a small. So your default should just be one size. So but I will say
that's how you've been scammed.
Correct. But in fairness, the last time I for real got scammed was so I had a computer that was not a Mac, and I had that McAfee hardware or software, whatever you call it, but it scans for viruses, et cetera, and I paid for it. Like, it always gets you to pay for it for like 15 years at a time. So when you pay for it, you forget about it, right? Well, something popped up on my screen that's saying, pay for McAfee 2 years, $16. I'm like, oh my God, because it usually costs like, $20,000. So I was like, ooh, let me click on it. I clicked on it, put my card number in, done. I'm like, okay, I'm good with McAfee for another 15 years. I started looking at my credit card. And some people in like Salt Lake City ordered. Oh, no, that's not. First off, I went to Walmart. And I got some Zyrtec. And I was in Walmart and I like bought some other stuff, right? My credit card company calls me talking about suspicious behavior. I'm like, hold up now. Surely my credit's strong enough to buy Zyrtec in the pharmacy and then some groceries over here to where I'm not getting a phone call. And they're like, yeah, man, but we have you buying pizza in Salt Lake City We have you buying like all kinds of food. And lo and behold, those jokers have figured out a scam through McAfee to get your credit card number, but they were buying like piddly stuff, thank God. So,
well, usually they buy like to test it, and then they're going to Walmart and getting big screen TVs.
Yep.
So glad they caught it.
Yeah. So, that's a lot of good lessons, but these scammers have gotten clever.
They really have. And I mean, like I said, there was a lot of things, your red flag list is long, that, hit me as like, I don't know. But then also there were some things that I was like, well, that is legitimate. Like the part about, you can't be in the presence of law enforcement without being arrested if you have a warrant. I'm like, that is true.
Yeah.
And I don't want my man going to jail.
I don't want him going to jail. I don't want him going to jail either because, especially not this week because we're supposed to play golf. So, let's just.
Yes. So anyway, a ride. A lot of life happening.
A ride.
So let me tell you now that we've kind of debriefed on that. So, let's move to our favorite segment of the show.
Hey.
Against My Better Judgment. And this is where we highlight a moment, ours or someone else's, where we ignored all the signs, did it anyway, and lived to tell the story. So today I'm turning it on to you. What happened, girl?
So I am very, you just never know what you're going to get with me. As you know, like sometimes I'll have on no makeup. Sometimes I'll be like heavy face makeup. Most of the time I'm just a light powder, and almost all the time some kind of just gloss. Well, this was a gloss moment, and I really like the color of this gloss. It looks good. It feels good. This is the gloss. I won't show the brand, but it says heat on it. Nowadays, that doesn't mean a whole lot, so I really like the color. I actually am wearing it now against my better judgment. Why? Because my lips are burning. Like, you may have seen me drink and put a piece of ice in my mouth. My lips are burning, and it's the heat. Like, this gloss, it's like almost a $30 gloss, and it really has heat. Like, my lips are like, think about your lips being sunburned. How hot is it? Like, put it like this. I think if I kiss somebody on wherever, I think it could be like a lawsuit, like an assault.
So we discovered yesterday, because we went out to dinner with a friend, and she was describing like, my lips are burning. Like, what is this? And I think that was like the second time you'd worn it. And you said the first time you didn't think that it was that because
I had made, so a lot of people know this about me, some don't, but I passed 2 bar exams. So of course I'm an attorney, so I passed that bar exam, and I actually am a trained mixologist. So I make lots of drinks and unique drinks, and I make everything from scratch. So I had made spicy margaritas, and with spicy margaritas, you literally cut up jalapenos and you put them into a bottle of tequila, and you let it sit for 2 to 3 days. So when I first wore it, I'd made spicy margaritas, and sometimes they're really hot, sometimes they're not, but I just thought that it was maybe a seed or some of the peppers from the margaritas were like on my lips. So I'm like, okay. But last night there was nothing spicy to be, and I'm like, y'all. And then my know-it-all friend.
Yeah, well, she can be know-it-all, but she also is a makeup girly.
She's the makeup girl, the product girl, the shoe girl, the everything.
Yeah, I mean, she was like, do you have it's a plumper.
Yeah, that's the word. I thought she said popper. Yeah, a plumper. And I'm like.
So that's why it's heat, because it's actually plumping your lips.
Tripped me out. So against my better judgment, I have this plumper. I mean, there's so many things wrong with this. I'd never even heard of this, but now,
I mean, because we don't need our lips don't need plumping. Okay.
Well, I don't think, I'm gonna tell you though, if you have you ever had this?
Never, and I don't ever want to ever.
I'm just curious about some stuff.
I mean, what I will say though, do you use Burt's Bees?
Yes.
Okay, so like it has the tingling.
Yeah, but that feels like peppermint smells.
Okay, because like my oldest son, whenever I put it on him, he's like, it's hot. So is it that same hot as hotter? Okay.
Oh no, this is straight up. It says heat, so they can't be sued. It is for real heat, like straight up heat. So
well, I think the lesson here is do your research.
When you see heat, like that's a red flag. That's a red flag, but I'm gonna tell you, it does. How do you think it looks?
Oh, it looks great, and it's a great color, especially on your skin. Like it's popping.
It's a plumper. Wait, is that the word?
Yeah.
All right, it's a plumper. So,
yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap it up today. I think the biggest thing for me to take away from this is do your research on the scams, on the products. When you are distracted and something is coming at you, pause, slow down, really listen to what's being said, and then check your spirit for like, does that seem right?
Yeah. And
if you have to hang up the phone and do some extra calling to verify, do that before you end up out of $355.62.
Yeah. For me, I'm just gonna say, hang up the phone. Whatever you go through this week, you will hear, feel whatever the warning signs. Hang up the phone.
That's a word.
And the other thing I'm gonna say is, when you see the word heat, it always implies hot. So just think it through. All right, just think it through.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with more laughs, more lessons, and probably another That Time When story.
Yeah, and make sure you follow the show. And, if you got something to share with us, make sure that you email us at againstmybetterjudgmentpod@gmail.com.
And then come hang out with us on Instagram at Against My Better Judgment Pod and Facebook too. And we're so glad that you came to join us.
Yeah, just slow down and trust your gut.
All right.